Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5.
A mother of 3 is killed in a car crash while trying to get to her children's school for a field trip. We're tracking the investigation into human remains found along a busy Lexington road. And why a former state lawmaker who admitted to killing his ex-fiancee wants to take his guilty plea back. WKYT News at 5 starts now.
Just a real tragic situation. A mother has died following a car crash involving a semi and her car.
It happened about 8 this morning at highways 150 and 643 in Lincoln County. Police say the victim was on her way to her children's school to attend a field trip. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more in our top story at 5.
I'm told that Jessica Marberly was running late this morning and she was trying to get to her child's school where they were going on a field trip when she went across this intersection and her truck collided with a tractor trailer. It happened about 8 o'clock this morning and Marberly was headed into town on Kentucky 643. She was trying to get to Crab Orchard Elementary.
Her daughter was on a field trip to go to Richmond and she was running a little bit late.
Marberly was alone when the truck hit the tractor trailer. A semi carrying shoes from South Carolina to an Amazon facility in Shepherdsville.
Contact was made on the driver's side right at the fuel tank.
Kentucky Vehicle Enforcement worked several hours to reconstruct the scene.
Normally when you have 2 vehicles, it's Kentucky State Police policy to reconstruct it, not only for us but for the people involved to make sure that we get it right. Marberly is being remembered as a hard worker and a devoted wife and mother. More on her life at 6 o'clock. In Lincoln County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And police say they do not believe Marberly had her seatbelt on.
Investigators are telling us they have finished their search for human remains near a busy Lexington road. Crews found more remains today off Citation Boulevard, not far from the Newtown Pike intersection. They began searching after someone made the discovery last night. While all the clues have been collected, there still are not many answers about this case. WKYT's Jordan Valines is live tracking the investigation this afternoon. Jordan?
Sam, that's right. Today, as you mentioned, a large amount of human remains were found about 500 feet away from this roadway, and now investigators are simply just trying to figure out who these remains belong to. This stretch of Legacy Trail down Citation Boulevard is usually bustling with bikers, runners, families.
Families are out all the time. You always see little kids on their little plastic scooters going around with the moms and dads.
But from Tuesday night until Wednesday afternoon, the typically tranquil trail was turned into a crime scene.
It's a surprise because I heard about it on the news last night.
The news that a large amount of skeletal remains had been found nearby shocked folks who frequent the area.
The kind of thing that can happen in a city, anywhere in the world, any street. It's just one very unfortunate incident.
At this time, investigators are still trying to determine who the person was, how their body got there, and certainly how they died.
We will be looking at missing persons to see if this is possibly one of those individuals, but there are a lot of those that's on the log right now.
The coroner believes the body is that of a man, but he'll rely on a forensic anthropologist to officially determine that, along with the person's height, weight, and race. Now, the coroner will also be checking with the nearby Eastern Kentucky State Hospital to see if any of their patients have gone missing in the past year or so. Live in Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
We're told the skeletal remains will be x-rayed at the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort in order to determine if there are any fractures on the bones or if there was any trauma to that body.
He admitted to killing his ex-fiancee, and now a former state lawmaker says he wants to take his guilty plea back. There was a day-long hearing in Lexington today, so a judge can consider Steve Nunn's request. WKYT's Victor Puente shows us why Nunn has changed his mind.
Steve Nunn took the stand today and pled his case for having his guilty plea from 2011 overturned. He said he never would have accepted that plea had he known the civil suit against him wasn't going to be dropped. During this evidentiary hearing, Nunn admitted that he killed Amanda Ross, his former fiancée.
Yes, I shot her.
But he says a jury might have believed that he acted under extreme emotional disturbance. Instead, he took a guilty plea that saw him sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.
Once I regained my sanity, sometime in 2010, after 1 or 2 visits to KCPC, I just was living in absolute regret for everything that had happened.
Now he says he regrets that plea. He claims the only reason he agreed to it was because his attorney at the time, Warren Scoville, told him that if he took the plea, the civil suit Amanda Ross's mother had filed against him would be dropped, a claim Scoville backed up.
Conclusion that I got, basically because he told me, is that the civil case would be dismissed if we entered a plea to life without parole.
But the attorney for Diana Ross said that was never agreed upon. He said Scoville had mentioned it, but they never accepted the offer. The suit went ahead, and a judge found Nunn liable for almost $24 million.
I believe that I'm entitled to my day in court.
Now that this hearing's over, Nunn's public defenders and the attorneys for the Commonwealth will have until December 15th to submit written briefs to the judge. She said she should make a ruling on the case within 30 days after receiving them. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Nunn's home was sold as part of that civil suit. He said he had hoped to save it for his daughter to live in. All right, enjoy this weather while you can.
Time is running out, isn't it? We have a blast of winter headed our way right now. It means your child might be trick-or-treating tomorrow, and maybe a little bit of snow, or at least some flakes. Our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey's been talking about this all week and telling us it was coming.
Yeah, we're getting closer to it, guys. Ugly Halloween, Sam and Amber, as you were talking about, a little rain, some snow, a lot of wind, and a lot of cold temperatures blowing on into town. Let us get into it. I want to start you out with the good part of the forecast. That's what's going on this evening. You're going to be heading out and about on this Thursday evening. Weather is looking absolutely beautiful. Temperatures low 50s right now with a partly sunny sky. Live First Alert Defender, nothing is going on until we broaden out the view to show you 2 systems. One across St. Louis. It has a couple of showers with it. That'll get in ahead of the true Arctic front that arrives tomorrow afternoon. So those showers will come in before the blast of cold. But as that system dives in from northwest to southeast, boy, it means business. It is unleashing air that is going to be way, way colder than it should be, and already seeing snows breaking out across parts of the Arrowhead of Minnesota. That blows in here tomorrow. Old Man Winter says hello early to the Bluegrass State this year. We're tracking some snow in for your Halloween evening, Halloween night, and into the first several hours of November. I'm talking about the potential for a slushy accumulation in some areas, and the blast of cold air looks like it is straight out of the month of December. When I come back in a little bit, not only am I talking about the first call for snowfall, but we've got a few counties, guys, under a winter weather advisory. Yes, it's October. More on the forecast just ahead.
A nurse who recently returned from working with Ebola patients broke her quarantine today. Officials in Maine wanted Casey Hickox to stay under quarantine at home for 11 more days. Well, instead, she took a bike ride with her boyfriend. State troopers followed her but did not stop her because they do not have a judge's permission to do that.
There are things that we know work, and all aid workers are willing to do those things. But I'm not willing to stand here and let my civil rights be violated when it's not science-based.
Hickox was originally quarantined inside a New Jersey hospital tent because officials said she had a fever after returning from overseas. She tested negative for Ebola and returned to Maine on Monday. 4 people are dead after a small plane crashed into a building in Kansas. About 100 people were inside at the time.
Several were hurt and another 4 are still missing. Bagad Shaban has the latest on the crash.
Black smoke rose from Mid-Continent Airport in Wichita, Kansas Thursday morning after a small plane crashed into a building. The FAA says a twin-engine Beechcraft King Air 200, like this one, lost power in an engine shortly after takeoff. The pilot told air traffic controllers about the problem and was attempting to return to the runway when the plane crashed into a building on airport property.
Our focus right now is to identify who was in the building and assess any injuries that may have occurred to people involved.
The building housed simulators for flight safety. Ambulances took the injured to the hospital. Several other people in the building are unaccounted for. FAA investigators are on the scene. Bagad Shaban, CBS News.
The building is operated by Flight Safety International, which uses the facility to train pilots. Former President Bill Clinton paid another visit to Kentucky today to campaign for U.S. Senate candidate Allison Lundergan Grimes. Clinton told voters in Louisville Grimes will fight to raise the minimum wage and bring jobs to Kentucky. He's been in Kentucky several times now to campaign for Grimes and acknowledged it in a funny way.
I've been here so much. The governor for sure told me if I came back one more time, I'd have to fill out a tax form. And I said, if it would help elect Allison, I would be happy to become a Kentucky taxpayer.
U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell visited our studios today for a taping of Kentucky Newsmakers. He and Grimes will both appear on the program this weekend. You can see it at 6 a.m. Sunday on WKYT and 6:30 p.m. Sunday on the CW Lexington.
As we head into this year's high school football playoffs, an alert tonight about the helmets your player is wearing. In a WKYT investigation, we traveled to Virginia Tech. We talked to the inventor of the first rating system for adult helmets. He explains how a good helmet can cut impact in half. We took our cameras to a Magoffin County practice to see what a tackle feels like.
And like I tell them, you know, when we come out and hit, and I get one who maybe is a little scared, a little skittish, I say, listen, we put you in the best equipment available. And they know that, and then they feel a little bit more comfortable.
Tonight at 6, WKYT's Miranda Combs investigates the safety of your child's football helmet and talks to those who learned the importance of helmet safety too late. It's getting closer and closer to homes and businesses, what people are doing before lava from a volcano destroys their community.
Many children live in homes with dogs, but sometimes their relationship between the two isn't always a good one. We'll show you how to protect both in Better Living.
Garth Brooks will be in Lexington this weekend, and thousands will pack downtown to see him in concert. What the city is doing to make sure that everything hopefully goes smoothly on WKYT News coming up at 5:30.
Follow WKYT online at WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Now, what a sight. Lava continues to slowly approach a small village in Hawaii. The lava is less than 200 yards away from a main road. It is threatening dozens of homes, and it could cut off access to the town's only supermarket. People there have been evacuated, leaving them with a long wait to see what's going to happen.
Why is this so different than other natural disasters?
Because it's taking forever. I mean, and it's the uncertainty. Is it going to stop?
Lava rocks wrapped in tea leaves are thought to bring good luck in Hawaii. People have been leaving them as offerings to the goddess of fire in Hawaiian religion.
Authorities have canceled trick-or-treat in northeastern Pennsylvania as they continue to search for a suspect in a state trooper's murder. They have been searching for Eric Freen for nearly 2 months now. He's accused of ambushing 2 troopers outside their barracks in September, killing one and wounding another. A school held a trunk-or-treat last weekend to make up for the cancellation. The number of people seeking unemployment benefits rose slightly last week. Claims rose by 3,000 from the previous week. The numbers remained at historically low levels, signaling a stronger job market. The 4-week average actually dropped to the lowest level in more than 14 years.
A group of Lexington preschoolers helped break a world record today. About 80 children from Winburn's Child Development Center joined thousands of students across the country reading the same book at the same time. And the goal was to set a new record for the world's largest vocabulary lesson. The children learned words like magnificent and wilderness.
One of the things that we try to instill in our children is that increased vocabulary and that love of reading. And if you can tie the two together like this activity does, it teaches them they're not just reading a book, they're learning from that book.
The old world record was 250 students. They smashed that. The new record is 4,000. A man leads police in a high-speed chase, and it's all caught on tape. We're tracking the search for the driver on WKYT News at 5:30.
Walmart might start matching more prices, plus how to help your dog and your children live in harmony. We'll have those stories next in Better Living. It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. It is good news for your wallet. Walmart is considering matching online prices from competitors like Amazon. The company matches prices of store competitors but hasn't ventured into online price matching. Walmart is reportedly testing the plan in certain cities before giving it the go-ahead nationwide. If your Halloween costume involves makeup, you'll want to take a few precautions. Skin reactions to face paints and makeup are not uncommon. If you are using a product for the first time, doctors recommend putting a little on your skin first to see if you're going to have a reaction. Any potential reaction could land you in the doctor's office.
If you have a reaction that's itchy, blistery rash, see your doctor and have them take a look at it and see if you could be allergic. You might need a topical medication.
Doctors recommend you avoid only using products meant for your face. They also say to avoid glitter, nail glue, and markers because they can be hard to remove. Dogs and children have grown up together for generations, but the relationship isn't always a good one. Holly Furfer shows us how to protect your children and your dog.
According to the ASPCA, half of all kids will be bitten by a dog before they turn 12. Now, not all dog bites are severe, some are just nips. But nearly 800,000 people require medical attention because of a dog bite each year. Animal trainer and behaviorist Victoria Stillwell teaches kids and their parents the right way to interact with dogs.
Children, naturally gregarious, they are loud, they have their body movements and their arms and run around and high-pitched voices, and this could all really elicit a negative reaction from your dog.
When children meet a friendly dog for the first time, teach them to offer an outstretched fist for the dog to sniff before you pet him. And always pet dogs under the chin. Patting a dog on the top of the head could be seen as a sign of aggression.
If you stare at that dog, that could be seen by the dog as a threat. If you smile at that dog, you're showing your teeth. That could be seen as a threat.
Other tips to prevent dog bites: never allow a child to put their face near a dog's face. Never lunge at a dog or back her into a corner. And look for signs that the dog is uncomfortable. A tense body, an erect or slowly wagging tail, or yawning and licking their lips.